we are going to talk about returning your light to wholeness through soul retrieval and healing. And that's because life serves many challenges, traumas, and in these moments of challenge and trauma, if they are not resolved, we can fragment. Our soul can fragment. Pieces of us can be left in the trauma and even compartmentalized. And this is done as a defense mechanism. The way we are able to cope with traumas is to sometimes shut that part out and never look at it. But what happens is when we do that, we dim. It's like a piece of our soul goes and shuts it away in a box. And over time, our light dims with every trauma and every challenge, and densities build up in our system, in our energy fields. And when we're born, we are the purest light. We are the purest, most beautiful light. We're most connected to our original essence from where we come. And then we go about life, and especially if there's been extreme trauma, it can even change who you are, like how you, it never changes who you are, it changes how you be. Because you start to contort and think that you need to do things or behave a certain way. And sometimes the difference in behavior is to receive love, like you think you need to do that to receive love. And sometimes the distortion in behavior happens because you don't know how else to act. Like you get triggered and you suddenly go to this place, and that's what we refer to as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And if you have been through any sort of trauma, this can happen. And it can happen with the littlest triggers or the biggest triggers. And even if it was the littlest trauma or the biggest trauma, but if it was never healed and integrated, it fragments us. And this is how we act from that triggered reactive place that then can sabotage our whole life. And I am so passionate about my own healing work. I am passionate about the healing work of others. And that's why as a spiritual healer, I do something called timeline healings, which is my version of soul retrieval, where we go back in time to the first point where a certain type of trauma was the first time it happened. And the reason why we go back to the first time is because when you had a first time trauma, it did something to your light and your nervous system, and there's a memory there. And because it wants to be healed, it keeps creating situations to experience the same thing over and over. It could be something different, it could be with a different person, but you keep experiencing this trauma state, which could be like fight, flight, freeze. And sometimes you in your conscious mind don't even want to do it, but it's this feeling that comes over you, and that's the trauma, that's the wound that wants to be healed. And when we go to that first moment, it's like the knot that we can unravel, and then it clears out all the other dysfunctions and distortions and ways of being that are not serving our highest good and our highest light. And so much of the spiritual and ascension journey is healing our traumas. Now, of course, we don't want to get stuck in I need to fix things, there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely not. You are beautiful and perfect as you are. That being said, you can have limitations and patterns that are preventing you from being the brightest light that you are, that prevent you from fully being the expression of who you came here to be, where you could maybe sometimes hide, or you can go into situations and relationships that are not serving you, and then you continue to sabotage versus living your highest timeline and your highest destiny. So it's all of our responsibilities to do our part to heal, because it also enhances all of our relationships in life, in love, in business. It enhances our life in general, and it even helps us heal disease. Because as I've mentioned in past lives, so much of disease, dis-ease, are these trapped energies, trapped emotions, and the emotions felt during a trauma can be trapped as well. And as I mentioned, it's a form of a defense mechanism, because if you can't deal with it, if when it happens, you just don't have the capacity. Like, the capacity is to feel safe again. You only have capacity to take care of yourself in that moment. You don't have time to process and go through it. But at a later point in time, when you're strong, it's important to go back, because it's going to affect your life moving forward. Like, if you were in any kind of traumatic situation or traumatic relationship, you will then go on to contort how you're being, because you think like, oh, in that relationship, that got that person mad, so now I need to be like this in this relationship. Versus the universe wants you to be who you really are. And you must trust that the people who are meant to be in your life will love you, for exactly who you are and exactly how you are. And so that's also part of our spiritual journey, is returning to the truth of who we are, being the fully expressed version of who we truly are, no matter the person who is around, no matter the situation that is around. You are who you are in all moments, in all times. And anytime we fragment, and I'm guilty of this too, where I've noticed I dim my light. Like, if I'm around people that I think maybe don't understand like some of the 5-dimensional ways of being and seeing and experiencing life that I do, I just kind of blend in, I camouflage, versus hold it. It's been my work to hold my frequency and hold my light, because I can be a guide and a catalyst and an awakener for others. And eventually it comes out, but it's almost like I keep it safe until it's okay. And I think that has happened because over time, my being and my essence triggered people. And so there was that dimming that happened. And there were those moments where there were relational challenges that then caused me to fragment, dim, and then be different than who I truly am. And the more we're reclaiming our power through soul retrieval, through the timeline healings of going back in time to those moments that we felt, oh, right, okay, there. That was when I made this kind of agreement with myself. And these are even forms of contracts that we make with ourselves. And then you change how you are. You change your beingness, and then you're no longer resonating in the truth of who you are. And so in time, when you're strong enough, you go back, you heal it, and you return to wholeness. And the way I see it energetically is every time you do a soul retrieval, every time you retrieve a piece of your light that you may have fragmented away because of a challenging situation, because of a challenging trauma, and you go and collect these parts of yourself through the soul retrieval, it's like you're turning the volume up on your light, because you allow all of those moments and experiences to inform you. You allow them to be wisdom, you integrate them, and you're no longer shunning experiences that you've had. Like, there's no more, I want to keep this secret, I want to keep this locked away. And then what happens is, as you start to love and accept all of you, then you can love and accept everything outside of you. And this is how we start to walk through the world with more ease and grace, because every time we're meeting situations and there's challenges and there's triggers, it's just your traumas wanting to be healed. It's just those pieces of light that want to come back to you. And so today, in our 12 days of live, we're on day 9. Today's the darkest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. Tomorrow's solstice, when the light comes and we shift into the next season. And so the number of hours of light is the smallest. So today is the day where you can really go in and look at the shadows, look at the parts of yourself that you've been shunning away, that you've been rejecting. And I really invite you to receive them, to love them back to you. And if you can, on your own accord, see if you can go back to traumatic moments and situations and resolve them, and love and accept and forgive yourself for those moments and how you responded to those moments and anyone involved in those moments. It's like forgive, love, accept, release, integrate. And love is the balm. Love is the light. And if you want guidance in that, of course, I'm always available for one-to-one work, but it is your responsibility to do this work in any way that you find whether it's with a practitioner or facilitator, whether it's on your own. But it's because we're here for the healing and awakening of humankind. We're here co-creating the new earth paradigm, and for the future generations, for any generations that come through you, it's our responsibility to do this healing work. And some of the traumas and the wounds we've inherited. And so we do this generational work. We are the spiritual warriors doing this generational work, releasing these generational traumas and curses and distortions in the energy field so that our light can shine even brighter. And we bring this Christ consciousness, these angelic realms, these high frequencies into every interaction, into every creation. And we shed and we let go of whatever baggage, distortions, densities, whatever is preventing us from living as the love, light, joy, peace, happiness, harmony, grace, abundance, and beautiful beings that we are. We're always beautiful. We're always all those things. And it's these minor traumas and distortions that might be in the field that can sabotage beautiful, incredible moments. And so with that, I send you so much love. I send you so much light on this day before solstice. Thank you for tuning in and doing this great work. You can go back and watch the replays of all the other days. And to go deeper on all of this, message me, reach out to me. I love you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.